Here at home, a foreclosure auction for San Francisco's biggest mall is set for tomorrow after several delays. San Francisco Center on Market Street's nearly empty. Its value has dropped again. Researchers at Morningstar found the center is now valued at $195 million, down 25% from where it was in August of 2024, $1 billion below its value in 2016. Previous owner stopped paying the mortgage on the mall back in 2023, shortly after Nordstrom said it was closing. There have been many proposals, but no actual plans to fill the space yet. So let's get some good insight by turning to Alex Saugus, Senior Vice President at CBRE. It's a global commercial real estate services and investment company. Thanks for being with us.
Yeah, good morning. Thanks.
Good morning. So this used to be the place. Now it's basically a cut through from Powell Street Bar to get up to Market Street. Do you think the center can come back as a shopping and dining destination?
Absolutely. Ultimately, San Francisco has proven that it's here to stay. We're seeing this AI boom, this huge recovery happen, and perennial truth is that people want to shop, they want experiences, they want to eat, and the fundamentals of San Francisco Center remain strong. There's obviously a lot of work to do, being 93% vacant and no clear path to resolution on the ownership.
Online shopping got a huge boost, as you know, during the pandemic. Many people have stuck with it. How important is kind of this idea of guessing consumers' habits for the next 20, 30 years when you're planning for what's next for the mall?
Yeah, absolutely. Online shopping, I think there's a perception that that's somehow replaced brick and mortar retail, and that's not what we see. Around 15% of all retail sales are online, leaving 85% in brick and mortar. And so it has certainly changed retail, and you've seen that over the last 20 years as the landscape of retailers has shifted pretty dramatically. But ultimately, e-commerce is yet another channel that will help retailers succeed. And what we're seeing is those digitally native brands who have great data, very sophisticated, and really understand the market. They, more than ever, are pushing into brick and mortar stores in San Francisco.
So it's not an or, it's an and. Let's talk size and specifics here. 1.4 million square feet. It's on one of the city's main thoroughfares. As you know, San Francisco under a lot of pressure to build more housing. Could the center be used for housing primarily?
That's a complicated question. Ultimately, you can look around the city and you don't see a ton of cranes in the air today, and that's ultimately because the cost of building housing is really high. It's higher than what the rents will bear, and so that's no different here. I am certainly not an expert on housing development, but a lot of our clients are housing developers, and there need to be some fundamental shifts in the cost of construction, rents. Or timelines to build in order to change that formula. So I think that's unlikely. In my opinion, the highest and best use here remains retail, but that's not to say there couldn't be a redevelopment, for some office or some hospitality or even some residential.
Okay, so let's talk about sort of the neighborhood, right? I talked about taking BART to Powell Street and cutting through the mall to get to where I want to go, which is the new Ross on Market Street. I know there's a big Nintendo store open now in Union Square. The sort of renaissance we're seeing around the mall, is that good for the future of San Francisco Center itself?
Absolutely. The change in that area has been remarkable over the last year. I think the current administration, our mayor and his office, definitely deserve a lot of credit. It's, I think, sometimes hard to keep in perspective the change when you're, walking around every day. We had a tour recently in the area, and the feeling on the street is dramatically different than it's been really in any time in my memory since well before COVID. And it's important to remember that a lot of these issues, these problems are structural, and they existed before COVID. This was not just because of COVID. COVID was really the pile of straw that broke the camel's back. And so I'm seeing street conditions dramatically improve, but that's a leading indicator, right? It's going to take some time for retailers to see that, be comfortable that trend is here to stay, and then move, or transact.
The building itself, the rotunda, it's just gorgeous. But will, if you will, the stink of a foreclosure auction stay with the mall, or once it has a new owner, it's full speed ahead?
No, once there's resolution, it's full speed ahead. Occupiers of any real estate are very conscious, especially today, of who their owners are and what the situation is. And when there is resolution, when a new buyer very likely has a lower basis and has money to invest in the project, that alone will give prospective tenants a lot of confidence to transact. It's also going to be very dependent on who that buyer is.
Yeah.
every retailer has a different relationship with different, national and international retail owners. So I think that's something that remains to be seen, who ends up being the buyer here.
All right, next step is tomorrow. The foreclosure auction is set. Alex Sagas from CBRE, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Of course, we talked a little bit about shopping in store versus online. We've been asking you all morning, how do you do most of your shopping? Almost an even split, but 55% of you say you go in store. The rest, 45%, choose online. You can vote, change those numbers by scanning the QR code at the top of your screen or heading to ktvu.com/vote.